What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another video here on the channel. And yes, it's been a little while. I apologize for the lack of frequent uploads, but I'm back again, and we're going to be talking about a pretty crazy story. So, obviously bullying is a huge problem, especially I feel like in the United States, and technology is a huge catalyst for that. I feel like ever since, the invention of cell phones and whatnot, it's only gotten easier and easier to bully kids. And it's honestly really sad, but the article we're going to talk about today is something I never thought I would read. It's actually pretty wild. So we're of course going to be talking about the Michigan mother who was caught cyberbullying her own daughter. That's right. Literally her own child is being bullied by her own mother. It's crazy, but let's just go ahead and hop into the article. The article starts by saying Mount Pleasant, Michigan. An Isabella County woman is facing 5 felonies after allegedly catfishing 2 minors for several months, one of which is her own daughter. Having been arrested on December 12th, 42-year-old Kendra G. Lacari is charged in Isabella County District Court with 2 counts each of using a computer to commit a crime and stalking a minor, plus 1 count of obstruction of justice. The computer charge is a 10-year felony, while the other 2 charges are 5-year felonies. Catfishing is when someone fakes an online identity to scam victims for money, romance, or physical harm. Charging documents state Lacari's alleged crime spanned September 13, 2021 through the following February 22nd, with the matter having been investigated by Isabella County Sheriff's deputies. Pertaining to the obstruction charge, Lacari allegedly tried framing another minor during the stalking probe. An affidavit in support of the charges was placed in a non-public file due to the alleged victim's juvenile statuses. By and large, it was mostly just harassing type text messages, demeaning, demoralizing, and just mean texts. Prosecutors are alleging Lacari used virtual private networks to mask the locations she was sending messages from. She also allegedly used a specific identity, trying to make it seem as though the messages were from peers of the 2 teens. Again, according to the Morning Sun, prosecutors compiled 349 pages of harassing texts and social media messages. In April, the FBI Cyber Division got involved in the case and determined the IP addresses used to send the messages were associated with Lacari, the media outlet reported. So honestly, man, there's a lot to unpack here. So I want to go over a couple things. My first kind of thought on all of this is, let's just be honest. You got to be a pretty sick individual to bully little kids. Like, if I'm just keeping it a buck, because, little kids are obviously, they're going through a lot as it is already. I feel like bullying is just getting, like I said in the intro, easier and easier as technology advances. And honestly, kids can just be pieces of shit, man. Like, let's be honest, like, they're terrible to each other. I experienced a little bit of bullying in high school. I feel like I got off pretty easy, to be honest, but it can always be so much worse. And like I said, you got to be a sick individual to bully little kids, because this person here we're talking about today is a grown-ass woman. Like, she's 42 years old. I guess she works at the school, and she's bullying little kids that she basically works for, right? And I think that's just so crazy, but it's arguably even worse because we're talking about the mother bullying her own child. Like, at the end of the day, a child, when life is hard, when life is stressful and they have nowhere to turn to, they should be able to turn to their parents, right? And this poor child can't even do that because she's getting bullied by her own mother. Like, that's truly just very tragic and very disgusting on her end. Like, imagine you're having a terrible day, like, you're getting bullied at school, you're getting picked on, you bombed your math test, and you come home and just want to confide in your mother, and your mother's like, oh, you ugly piece of shit, you're stupid as fuck for failing your test. Like, that's crazy, man. And obviously, we don't really know the details of, like, what was being said exactly, but just kind of put yourself in that little girl's shoes for a second, when life is just so hard and stressful, and you can't even rely on your own mother. Like, that's crazy. And then the second thing I want to touch on, so she's obviously looking at, I think it said 5 felonies. And so think about the time that she's going to spend behind bars if she's convicted. Like, we're talking 20 plus years. Like, that is crazy. And for what? Basically just to bully a bunch of little kids. Like, Like, the way I see it is she was probably having, like, one bad day at work. Maybe her daughter, did something that kind of annoyed her, and she just kind of, like, snapped, like, just something in her brain, like a switch just flipped, and she's like, I'm gonna fucking bully this bitch for the preceding 4 months or whatever. And so she's looking at, like, 20 plus years. So she's convicted and she went to jail today. She wouldn't come out until she's in her 60s. Like, she'd be an old-ass fucking woman. And I just think that's so crazy. You're spending 20 years behind bars essentially because you wanted to bully a bunch of little kids. Like, win stupid games, win stupid prizes. Like, hope it was worth it. And what's really mind-blowing to me, too, is, like, just how elaborate this scheme was. It's talking, like, in real computer techie kind of terms, like, she hid her IP and all this shit and, like, used, like, multiple masking networks or whatever. And, like, to me, that's just fucking insane. Again, just to pick on a couple of little kids, including your daughter. Like, I'm gonna be real, like, I'm stupid as fuck. Like, if I wanted to pull something off like this, I wouldn't even know where the fuck to start. But she's, like, going absolutely overboard with this, like, going to crazy lengths to bully her daughter and I guess one of her friends or something. Like, I seriously just cannot wrap my mind around this. Because, like, honestly, if the mother wasn't such a pussy, she could have just went straight up to them, confronted them head on, said a couple of mean things, kind of been on her way. But instead, she took it a step further. She hopped on her fucking Cyberpunk 2077 shit, hacking the network and whatnot, doing all this crazy technological shit. This Johnny Silverhand-looking head ass was determined to hide her identity and went to extreme lengths to do so. Like, holy, that's crazy. Like, there are just so many details about this story that are just mind-blowing. Like, we haven't even talked about the fact that, like, she created this whole entire fake persona with this whole catfishing method she wanted to try out. I guess she was trying to, like, frame another actual student that went to the school. Because, again, she was a basketball coach. So she probably, knew the whole school's dynamic and whatnot. She, like, picked someone at random or something, tried to create this fake persona, and basically frame this other kid for doing this. I mean, we're talking about minors, dude. Like, that is so crazy. Like, she's trying to set this minor up to essentially fuck their life over for the rest of their lives. I mean, like, these are obviously very serious allegations here. I don't know, you're just framing another child. Like, how pathetic, man. That's crazy. And, like, you got to remember, too, like, we're not talking just, like, a couple mean words, maybe a mean tweet or two, a couple of mean DMs. No, we're talking about an entire fucking Harry Potter-sized book, apparently. Because I guess the intelligence agency or whatever, they recovered like 349 full-blown fucking pages, bro. Like, this is a straight-up fucking manifesto or something. Like, that's absurd. 349 pages. You can only imagine the terrible, despicable things in there. Because I'm going to be honest, man. There's people in this world that I hate, but you put a gun to my head and tell me to write a 349-page novel on why I hate someone, dude, I could not fucking do it. That is absolutely insane. And again, for like what reason? Because they weren't able to apparently recover any sort of information regarding a motive. And so it sounds like this lady just straight up did it just for fun, just did it for the hell of it, shits and gigs, I'm quirky, but I don't know, man. This whole story is just an absolute mindfuck from start to finish, and I knew I had to cover it here today. But that's basically it for the story, y'all. I appreciate y'all watching the video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like rating, subscribe to the channel for more commentaries just like this. Leave a comment down below. I would love to hear what y'all have to say about this. And I am going to be getting back on my grind, consistently uploading more. And I would love to have you guys along for the ride. But yeah, that's basically it. Like I said, thank you for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Later.